This video is not safe for work. Like, seriously, do not watch this with kids. Yes, I'm talking about a cartoon, but it is not a kid's cartoon. So please watch at your discretion. It's 18 plus. Today we are talking about Hazbin Hotel. I've been dying to talk about this. Dying. Funny, because this is about hell. So this TV show, which is on Prime, by the way, is the perfect mashup of my special interests. Christian mythology, or folklore, whatever you want to call it, and witchy shit. They are like enmeshed within this TV series. I can't promise no spoilers, but if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar with the show anyway, so let's get into it. I have a lot to say. And I've dressed in some Hazbin Hotel colours today. If I had merch, I would totally be wearing it. I need to get myself some merch. Where do I even start with this? Okay, let's start with the opening scene. So I'm going to show you a couple of things and then we're going to talk about it. I'm going to be giving you my perspective as a practicing witch, a professional witch, and some of the really cool occult stuff that they've included in this TV series. Then I'm also going to add in some extra content because I'm an ex-vangelical. I was a Christian, and I'll tell you what, guys, the Christians do not like this show. It is spiteful to Christianity, so that makes me love it even more. So this TV series is the brainchild of Vivian Medrano, Vivzy Pops on YouTube. This is not her only creation. She has done so much stuff. There is another TV series that is solely on YouTube that's called Hellaverse. Also hilarious. Another video will probably come around that one. It's in the same universe as this. There's something called the Hellaverse and they intertwine, okay? We will get more into that in a moment. But let's look at the opening segment because it gives us a really good basis for the, I guess, the folklore and the mythology that they are basing a lot of this on, which comes from Christianity. Are you ready?
Once upon a time, there was a glowing city protected by golden gates known as heaven. It was ruled by beings of pure light, angels that were...
Let's just stop it there for a second. Do you see they're using biblically accurate angels? Angels were described as many-eyed wheels. Here we go. Thankfully, they've done their research. Thank you very much. So let's continue.
And shielded all from evil. Lucifer was one of these angels. He was a dreamer with fantastical ideas for all of creation, but he was seen as a troublemaker by the elders of heaven, for they felt his way of thinking was dangerous to the order of their world.
So this is where we veer off from what the Bible says and go into more what people have come up with, I guess, about Lucifer. There is a lot of content out there around Lucifer actually being the good guy. I'm even writing a novel that kind of goes along that vein of thought as well. It's one of my favorite ones. So I love that they start out with this, that Lucifer wasn't the bad guy. He was just a dreamer. Let's continue.
So he watched as the angels began to expand the universe in their ways. From the dust of earth, they created Adam and Lilith.
Adam and Lilith. All right, let's just start here for a second. Adam and Lilith obviously is not in the Christian-approved Bible, but it is a part of Jewish folklore and mythology. So as I said, Lilith comes from Jewish mythology and Mesopotamian, these words are really hard, mythology, and is linked back to the book of Isaiah in the Bible. Now, there are a lot of rabbinic authorities or Jewish authorities that reject the concept of Lilith being the first wife of Adam, but there are some who do agree with this. There are texts, there are sources, there are incantations left on bowls to Lilith. dating back to 500 AD. I do talk a little bit more about this on the podcast episode with Michelle Barlanger, where we talked about demons and negative entities. I'm pretty sure it was all in the podcast and not the uncut, but if you want the uncut, just jump onto the Suburban Witches Society and you'll get access to that. But basically there is folkloric precedence for this story forming a part of Christian mythology. Okay, and I love it. I think it's wonderful. So it's basically they were formed from the same thing, dust. They were equal. Let's keep watching. Oh, and there is also some discrepancy between Lilith as a deity, a goddess, a person, who we're going to see here, and the Lilitu or the Liliths, which is a little bit different.
Equals as the first of mankind, but despite this, Adam demanded control, and Lilith refused to submit to his will. She fled the garden. Drawn in by her fierce independence, Lucifer found her, and the two rebellious dreamers fell deeply in love.
So this is where it goes off a little bit. We don't have a lot of source text for this sort of a thing. So this is where we're going into the creativity of pop culture and what we can bring about from the Christian mythology as an inspirational text.
Together, they wished to share the magic of free will with humanity, offering the fruit of knowledge to Adam's new bride, Eve, who gladly accepted.
Now, contrary to popular belief, Lucifer was not the one who gave Eve the apple, or wasn't the serpent in the garden. So there are some people that follow that school of thought, but it is not mentioned as Lucifer. It was mentioned as Satan, and that's not necessarily one and the same.
But this gift came with a curse, for with this single act of disobedience, evil finally found its way into earth. With it, a new realm of darkness and sin, and the order heaven had worked to maintain was shattered. As punishment for their reckless act, heaven cast Lucifer and his love into the dark pit he had created, never allowing him to see the good that came from humanity, only the cruel and the wicked.
I love this. I mean, this is giving us the canonical text that we're going with, that Lucifer was cast down as a punishment. Of course, in this one, he's also got his bride Lilith with him.
Shamed, Lucifer lost his will to dream, but Lilith thrived, empowering demonkind with her voice and her songs, and as the numbers of hell grew, so did its power.
Now, the word Lilith, I think it comes from Akkadian or Sumerian, maybe Akkadian. It actually translates into a screech owl. So there is a folklorist on TikTok. Her name is Piper CJ, and she did actually bring up the fact that the songs that Lilith is maybe because she's a screech owl and like the voice and like these siren aspects. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that's what the creator originally intended, but either way, we've got these like musical siren-y vibes coming from beautiful Lilith here. So I do want to also say that Lilith is meant to be mother of demons. There is some texts that imply she slept with Samael, who is another fallen angel or demon. This is actually, I use this as the basis in my novel that I'm writing. But she was cursed with barrenness. However, she ended up siring demon babies with Samael, and that's where incubi and succubi, which are sex demons, come from. There's this really strong link with sexual wantonness, sexual independence, and just sex in general when it comes to Lilith, which we could see with her refusing to submit with Adam in the start there. Let's go on.
Threatened by this, heaven made a truly heartless decision. That every year they would send down an army, an extermination, to ensure hell and its sinners could never rise against them. But Lilith's hope remained, and her dream was passed down to their precious daughter, the Princess of Hell.
So then we begin the actual series. So this is kind of like just the setup, and then it goes into Charlie Morningstar, who is Lucifer Morningstar's daughter of Lucifer and Lilith. And Charlie is the Princess of Hell. That was her speaking and giving us that story. I'm sure you can already see the animation in this is incredible. 20 million stars for animation. It's chef's kiss. So in this show, in Hazbin Hotel, Charlie Morningstar chooses to create a literal hotel where she aims to help sinners, so humans who have died and gone to hell, helps them to redeem themselves in the hopes of maybe getting into heaven. That's her idea. Now, this obviously goes against the especially evangelical thought process of heaven and hell, and that you're in hell and that's it. But Catholics do actually believe in a potential for redemption. They have the concept of purgatory. So it's not an unfounded belief or an unfounded storyline to put in here, but I just love that it's Lucifer's daughter running a hotel for sinners. So on that fact, I'm just going to give you guys a little, what's up with the Hellaverse, okay? There is a hierarchy here, so I'm going to go through it. Firstly, we have 7 levels of hell. There's 7 rings of hell. I'm going to show you some images of it as we go through. So these 7 rings of hell are also the 7 deadly sins. And guess what? They're in the colors of the rainbow, which I think is an unintentional maybe dig at the fact that Christianity doesn't accept queer folk, maybe, but this series as a whole is very queer inclusive. Like, we have a ton of queer characters, so I'm not sure on that one. I don't know what the intention behind it is, but the 7 rings of hell are in the colors of the rainbow. The top level is the red one, and that is ruled by pride, so the sin of pride. Now, the person who rules over that level of hell is Lucifer. Am I recording? So Lucifer, who is the king of hell, he represents pride, and he is ruling over that first ring, which is the red ring. Now, Charlie and Lilith are like one below him. We have like the queen and the princess of hell. In terms of hierarchy, though, we then have the 7 deadly sins. So Lucifer's obviously one of them. So the other 6 deadly sins are like entities, right? They are anthropomorphized in a way. And they're all incredibly powerful. I'm pretty sure they all like run almost like they're each ring of a circus kind of thing. And each of the deadly sins represents an act in a circus. Like there's circus vibes coming in here, and you'll see that more in Hell of a Boss. So as I said, they're each in charge of the rings by color. So red is pride, orange is wrath, yellow is gluttony, green is greed, blue is lust, purple is envy, and pink is sloth. Now, we don't see it so much in Hazbin Hotel, but we definitely see it in Hell of a Boss, and that is the Ars Goetia. As a witch, this tickles my heart so much. These are considered the nobility of hell. We'll get into that in a little bit later. Or maybe in the Hell of a Boss one. I'm not sure. You just have to subscribe to get all of my videos. Then we have Overlords. Now, we definitely see Overlords in Hazbin Hotel. So Overlords are powerful demons, and they oversee almost like a certain territory. They've got like sections of turf in the pride ring. Each of these overlords are concepts, okay? Social concepts. We will get more into that in a minute. Beneath the overlords, we have the sinners. These are human souls who have gone down into hell. Now, when they go to hell, they don't look like humans anymore. They often take on a different form. We have Husk, who's a cat with wings. We have Angel Dust, who is a jumping spider, but like 6 foot tall. So everyone's kind of got a different like animal vibe or monster vibe or whatever vibe. It's very fun. Now, the sinners are confined to the pride ring, okay? In that ring of hell. They are under Lucifer's control, from what I can tell, from what I have seen so far. We could get more information in season 2 or whatever, and this could change. If they're killed, they respawn unless they are killed by an angelic weapon during an extermination, which happens like once a year. Now, some of these ones can gain powers by soul trading or signing up, like giving the power of their soul to one of the overlords, for example, and then that overlord controls them. Also, sinners can't reproduce. Now, under sinners, we have the hellborn. They are born in hell, hence the name hellborn. They can reproduce. They can also travel through all the rings. And then we have imps and hellhounds. Hellhounds, it seems, are slightly lower than imps. They seem to be like the pets of those in the Hellaverse. So obviously, as a witch, when we're talking about Lilith can be seen as a deity, a goddess, a spirit to work with. So I absolutely love any time I see Lilith come up in any form of pop culture. It's just absolutely amazing. She's definitely a goddess that is known for her independence, especially sexual independence, as I said before. All right, now I'm going to show you a little clip of the actual Hazbin Hotel. So we're going to have a look at this hotel that Charlie has started up. I'll tell you why in a moment, but just have a little look.
This noisy picture box advertisement. So I had a little fun with it.
Oh, fun? You had a little fun with it? Well, this is not what we want to represent us. When you showed up here a week ago, you told us you would help run this hotel. Instead, you're mocking us. Nobody's gonna want to come to a place that a powerful overlord like you thinks is a waste of time.
That character who is speaking, that's Vaggie. Vaggie is Charlie Morningstar's girlfriend. What we can see here is the sigil of Lucifer. Now, this is the literal sigil of Lucifer in the wallpaper. We can also see it there above the mantelpiece. I don't think that's a fireplace. I'm not really sure. So this is pretty cool to see that the animators have included this sigil that we can find it dating back to like the 16th century, maybe even earlier, but 16th century Italy is what I found in a Grimoire of Truth. This sigil to represent Lucifer is all through Lucifer's daughter's hotel to redeem sinners. It's beautiful.
Need a big, strong daddy to put me in my place on the path to redemption.
Well, you come
Oh, yes.
to the right place.
Cut! Okay, Angel, I need you to be less horny if possible, and Husk, can you maybe not have the script in front of your face?
I ain't no actor. I can't memorize this shit.
All right, so we saw a couple of the characters there. We saw Angel Dust and Husk. Husk is played by Keith David. You can just tell I absolutely adore him. He's so talented. They're trying to film an ad for the Hazbin Hotel to get more people there. Then we cut to this little nugget and we see Adam eating ribs. Remember, Eve was made from his ribs, so just watch this bit.
Was digging on the drummer, and it's like, do you know who I am? I'm fucking Adam. I'm the original dick. All dicks descend from me. You think you want a drummer dick? No way. I'm the dick fucking master. So, anyway, and we fucked, and it was awesome. What'd you do this weekend?
Wait, your name is Adam? Like the first man, Adam? That means you. Oh. That explains so much.
I know.
I love their portrayal of Adam as just this absolute douchebag. I think it's hilarious. And like, of course, that douchebag gets into heaven, right? So we don't actually have any biblical basis for Adam being in heaven, but I do think it really aligns with my view of what evangelicals believe can happen. If you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to actually be a good person. You can be a total dick. But as long as you believe in Jesus, you'll be fine. You'll get a one-way ticket to God, you know? So that tickled my funny bone. So I want to skip ahead a little bit and look at the Overlords. As I said, Overlords are like concepts.
I came here because I love seeing wasteful souls struggle to accomplish something meaningful and fail spectacularly, like you are doing now. Good job.
And here is Alistair, the egocentric piece of shit that...
I wouldn't try that, my dear. This face was made for radio.
So that is Alistair. Alistair is the radio demon. Now, he comes across as a bit of a deer. One of the funny things I like in this is a few times you will actually see this X on his head. It wasn't in that clip I just showed you, but you will see it later on when you're watching the series if you look carefully. Now, there are some fan theories around this that he was a hunter who was mistaken for a deer and shot in the head, and that's how he died as a human. We're not sure, but I think it's a fun fan theory. Now, in the pilot episode you can find on YouTube, it's the original one that's not on Amazon Prime, Alistair had a much more voodoo vibe. So some people say that he has similarities to Kaifu, a voodoo loa, but it looks like they have taken a lot of that, the voodoo aspect out since that pilot in the actual show. And I'm very happy they did that because we don't want to be associating another religion into this universe, which is really based off Christian mythology. And B, we don't want to be associating the gods and deities and spirits of other religions as demons or malefic, because that's not helping anybody. So I'm very glad they made that decision to change it. For now, we just know that as an overlord and as a concept, Alistair rules over radio and radio waves. Radio demon. I think it's quite funny. Maybe if I want my podcast to do well, I can build a little pop culture altar to Alistair and bring in some of that radio vibes, huh? This could be a good way to use pop culture witchery.
Trust us with your entertainment. Fox Tech. Trust us. Trust us. Trust us. Now that's good television.
Alright, so this is in episode 2. We are introduced to some of the other overlords, one being Vox. Now, Vox is the TV demon, essentially. So, the video box, the idiot box. Now Vox is aligned with 2 other overlords as well. So, they've made this little trio. There's Velvet, who we can see was calling him on his face, and also Valentino. So, again, this is in episode 2. And when I say concepts, like the concept of television, right? The concept of, when we see Velvet is going to be the concept of social media. Then we have Valentino, he's the concept of the porn industry. So I guess these are all concepts where we can almost like give our power over to. Some might call this an egregore. So an egregore is when we give a consciousness to a concept through through multiple people. So like when lots of people worship Jesus, they perhaps make an egregore, like an avatar of Jesus, and maybe that is an actual spirit with a real consciousness that they've then created through their collective consciousness. Okay? So this is what this show is sort of dealing with as a witch, what I look at it as. It's very, very interesting. Also similar to what Neil Gaiman did in American Gods with things like the Digital Boy being a concept of something that people were idolizing. They also had the TV in Neil Gaiman's American Gods as well as something people were idolizing. So it became a god for people. So this is kind of within that realm.
You're fired. What is this? Wrist ruffles? Is it 1750? Burn it like the witches who wore it.
Oh, Velvet, I can see you're busy.
So there we see Velvet. So she rules over social media. Again, a little bit of a god that we've all been giving so much of our time and attention to, sacrificing for social media, sacrificing for television, sacrificing for the radio, those sorts of things. And we're about to meet Valentino, who is honestly probably the worst villain in the show. So Valentino is a moth. He rules over the porn industry, so he's an overlord, and he owns Angel Dust's soul. And Angel Dust has obviously moved into the hotel to try and redeem himself. He's the only willing sinner over there trying to do that. And so we watch Valentino start to lose control. And this is a very abusive relationship. It's a sexually abusive relationship. And a lot of people have given a lot of credit to Vivian for creating Angel Dust as a role, as a character, and showing the dynamics of an abusive relationship so clearly. Vivian has mentioned, I'm pretty sure that they've experienced something similar, and that's why they sort of put that in here. If you are someone who was a victim of sexual abuse, I would watch it with caution because it is pretty graphic, some of the stuff in here. It's pretty intense, and like, I was very uncomfortable with some of it, but I also think it's very important to show that aspect, especially with Angel Dust as a character. I've been shown him a lot here. He's overly sexualized, and sometimes that happens when someone has been abused because it gives you a little bit of control. Like, no, if I pretend like I really do want it, then maybe I will really want it, and then it's not so bad. Does that make sense? I'm not a therapist. This is my views. All right, so we have the V's. That's Velvet, social media, Vox, TV, and Valentino, porn industry. We have Alistair, the radio demon. Then we have Susan from Cannibal Town. She might be symbolizing death as a concept, or consumption as a concept could be as well. She's a cannibal. She lives in Cannibal Town. Then we have another character called Zestial. Now, some people say he might be representing poison. We're not really sure. We don't know a lot about him at the moment. He's just very old. Then there's Camilla Carmine. She represents weapons. She's an arms dealer, very badass arms dealer. So they're all of these like concepts that are these overlords that are running around in Hazbin Hotel. Did I also mention this was a musical? I'm not sure if I mentioned it's a musical. It's like Disney for adults, but like very adult. The songs are so freaking catchy, but they're really not safe for work. Just FYI. So for the first season, it's done very, very well. I don't want to give too much away. I want you to go and watch it because it is really, really good. As a witch, I think there is a lot of really creatively creative There is a lot of creativity in the concepts that are used and some of the occult stuff that is actually brought in, such as sigil use, such as egregores, such as the 7 rings of hell, Christian mythology and folklore, Jewish mythology and folklore, all wrapped onto this beautiful little bundle of songs and sunshine and hilarity. As I said, there is the other part of the Hellaverse, which is Hell of a Boss, which is over on YouTube. In that one, that has more of the Ars Goetia. These are goetic demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon, and it does do them justice, but obviously it's a cartoon. It is going to take some creative license as well. We have Asmodeus, or Asmodeus, as some people like to call him. There's Mammon. There is, and Asmodeus is the demon of lust, by the way. There is Prince Stolas, and Stolas is, if you've ever watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which was also very well done occult-wise, there was Lillith and Stolas in that. Lilith had her bird named Stolas. So Stolas is a goetic demon from the Ars Goetia and the Lesser Key of Solomon. So it's drawing on that. It's using their sigils in the animation as well. It's very, very well done. I'm super duper impressed as both an Exvangelical and a witch and a cartoon lover. So I highly recommend this. I think they've done an excellent job. I cannot wait for season 2. And I'm going to end it with one of my favorite snippets of song, because I can't show too much. This is a reaction video. I don't want to get in trouble. But this is one of my favorite parts.
You're a loser, baby, a loser, goddamn baby, you're a fucked up little whiny bitch. You're a loser just like me.
Thanks, asshole.
You're a screws loser, and only one star refuser. You're a bottom at rock bottom. You got company.
That's Keith David singing. He does an incredible job. Absolutely fantastic. That gives you an example of what some of the music is like as well. It's absolutely phenomenal. So let me know, have you watched it? What did you think of it? Have you watched Hell of a Boss as well? Should I do another video on that, or just leave it like this? I've kind of combined them both here. I hope shows like this continue coming out and, yeah, making fun of Christian mythology for what it is, but also utilizing that, because it kind of heals a little bit of my soul every time I watch evil shows like this. It's my Exvangelical self coming out, and my witchy self just absolutely adores it. I think they've done a really good job. 10 out of 10 stars. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different to usual. Let me know if you want me to do more content like this, or if not. I'm totally here for you guys. That's why I create this channel. It's not for me, it's for you. So let's open a dialogue. Give me a comment. I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world today, and I will catch you next time.